bin's wieder, Kesonai Hagam, hier mit meinem Let's Play von Flieg, Wright, Tony, Spirit of Justice. Beim letzten Mal haben wir die Investigations nun doch abgeschlossen. Die letzten, by the way, in diesem Spiel. Jetzt wirklich. Und, ja. So wie es aussieht, egal wie das jetzt am Ende ausgeht, Ellen wird unglücklich sein. Entweder landet sie im Gefängnis oder Soren. Scheiße. Just scheiße. 23. September, 9 Uhr. District Court, Courtroom Number 6.
Entschuldigung, ich muss gehen! Court has been concession for the trial of Alan Wright!
The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Let's see now! Where were we?
In yesterday's session, we found out about the Sprocket family's conspiracy to cover up the murder of Dumont Bloomsbury with a second reception. Taking advantage of our collective shock, the defense, as usual, made a nonsensical claim. Namely, that there was a third person present who struck the victim.
Objection!
Hey, don't try to make it sound like I made it all up. The defendant herself made a statement about the existence of a third person. And further investigation has only proven her statement to be true.
Then I presume the defense intends to focus on proving the identity of this third person! Is that alright with you, Mr. Edgeworth?
Indeed, Your Honor. In fact, I predict that the defense will, most likely, attempt to name Mr. Soren Sprocket as the true culprit. How did you... The driver during the accident that killed Mr. Sprocket's sister was the victim. Therefore, Mr. Sprocket had a motive to murder Mr. Bloomsbury. That's what you plan to assert, is it not, Mr. Wright? Am I that transparent? Come now, Mr. Wright. Did you really think the police wouldn't uncover this information? Congrats on getting it in one, Mr. Edgeworth. But... you're wrong! Soren didn't do it! He's innocent! Miss Wyatt, please! He's innocent, I tell you! What is this, Mr. Wright? I thought your claim about the existence of a third person came from the defendant. I did. This is just a minor hiccup.
Did you not discuss your strategy for today with the defendant, Mr. Wright?
Starting off on the wrong foot again is seriously cutting into my lifespan. It would appear that the defendant is in disarray. Therefore, the best way to clear things up is to ask Mr. Sprocket himself what happened. Your Honor, the prosecution would like to call Soren Sprocket to the stand. What?
Very well! Bailiff, please bring Mr. Sprocket to the witness stand!
Huh.
Witness, please state your name and occupation!
Und hör vielleicht auf, in dein Buch rumzukritzeln. Och, kannst du keine normale Aussage machen?
Oh! There's something written on this paper airplane! Let's see! Soren Sprocket, Managing Director of Sprocket Aviation! Mr. Sprocket, please give your answers in words, not paper airplanes!
Da ist wieder. Now then, Mr. Sprocket. Please tell that doubting lawyer there what really happened at the time of the crime. Well, Mr. Sprocket? Geht's schon wieder los. Mr. Sprocket! Alright. Ah! You want me to talk about what happened when the crime occurred? In other words, after the first wedding reception? When Ellen and I were in the reception hall, right? Not even the power of the court can stop him from marching to the beat of his own drum. Jesus, Junge! Get a grip already! Hörst du? I was stabbed by Dumas in the reception hall, and I collapsed to the floor. The next thing I saw was Ellen and Dumas on the Vista deck. I knew Ellen was in danger, so I headed for the Vista deck. But when I got there, Dumas was already... I don't want to believe it, but it must have been Ellen. Nothing else makes sense. Wait just a minute here! You actually think Miss Wright killed the victim? That's right. Dumas was killed by Ellen. This is unbelievable! How can you suspect your bride, the woman you love?
Objection!
The truth can be cruel. Miss Wright, you must have been very upset. Is there anything you wish to say? No, I can't believe this. Soren, I thought that at least you would believe in me. The best way now to show your love for your groom is to admit your guilt and try to atone. Soren.
Hold it!
Mr. Edgeworth, I haven't even cross-examined the witness yet. And quit picking on the clarity distraught. Yeah, that's so not cool, Mr. Edgeworth. A court is where we seek the truth. And the truth is unyielding, even to the truly pitiful. Mr. Edgeworth! I find it distasteful to make a lady cry! Nah, it too, Your Honor. So, what are you going to do, Nick? If the third person Ellen saw on the Vista deck was Soren, then we have to prove Soren was there at the time of the murder. I don't see any obvious inconsistencies in his testimony, but we have to push forward. Ach Mann. Das war schon mega verletzend, also come on. Jetzt selbst wenn es einfach stimmt, dass er jetzt quasi besessen ist, also Ellen von Soren. Aber das war schon ein dezenter Dick-Move. Sorry, ich finde sowas einfach nicht schön. Kreuzverhör! What Soren remembers. Als erstes mal... Na, wo haben wir es denn? Hier, die Stelle. Angreifen. Are you absolutely sure, Mr. Sprocket, that by the time you got to the Vista deck, the murder had already been committed? Yes. But the Vista deck is just on the other side of the glass window in the reception hall. Shouldn't you have been able to get there right away?
Objection!
Mr. Wright, have you investigated nothing? The only way to the Vista deck is to go to the hold and take the lift. No matter how much one hurries, it would take at least 10 minutes. Ah, well, that's unhelpful. But Soren had to have gotten there before the murder, or my claim won't stand. Do you have any ideas for me, Maya? It's definitely easier to prove that someone did go to the hole than not. I mean, you can't leave anything if you don't go someplace, right? Can't leave anything? Wait a minute. I think Maya is onto something here. The lack of a certain something actually proves that Soren didn't go to the hold. What's the matter? Are you stumped already? No, I'm far from stumped, Mr. Edgeworth. I know for a fact that Mr. Sprocket didn't go to the hold. You and your paper-thin bluffs. Mr. Sprocket's bloodstain on the lift proves he went through the hold. So what possible proof could you have that he did not in fact go through there? You want proof? You got it! You can't do this, Phoenix. There's gotta be proof that Soren didn't go through the hold.
Oh, Mr. Wright!
This proves that Mr. Sprocket didn't go through the hold. Wenn das nämlich der Fall gewesen wäre... wo haben wir das denn? Dann gäbe es hier ja wohl auch einen Eintrag von ihm, dass er da reingegangen ist, weil ohne Schlüsselkarte kommt man nicht in da rein. As anyone can see from the hold entry record, there's absolutely no mention of Soren Sprocket entering the hold. The defense asserts that Mr. Sprocket used a different route to get to the Vista deck. You can assert all you want, Mr. Wright. But can you actually prove another route exists? Can I prove the existence of another route to the Vista deck, you ask? Tatsache ist... Noch nicht. Nein, noch nicht. Noch nicht. Well, now that I really think about it, I guess it's going to be hard to prove. But I can't back down now. The trial will be over if I do. There's only one thing I can do at a time like this. I can't prove it! Even if it's just a bluff, I have to present something. Anything that could prove the existence of a faster route to the Vista deck.
Very well then, Mr. Wright! Show us how Mr. Sprocket got to the Vista deck!
Mr. Sprocket made for the Vista deck through here. Nun ja, wir wissen ja hier von der einen Maid hier, dass es ja diese Tür gibt. Wir ignorieren einfach mal erstmal den Fakt, dass das eigentlich eine Todesfalle ist. To save his bride from danger, Mr. Sprocket opened the escape hatch and made his way along the outside wall of the Vista deck. To the Vista deck. Bah! Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket?
It would certainly be a much faster route to the Vista deck!
Objection.
I'm disappointed, Mr. Wright. Is that really the best you could muster? That escape hatch is not meant to be used to get from the reception hall to the Vista deck. One slip and that's all it would take for Mr. Sprocket to plunge to his death.
We have to agree, the defense claim is really stretching it!
Hold it.
I understand how it sounds, Your Honor. But at this point, it's too early to definitely say that he didn't go that way.
So then,
Your Honor. Is it really? This is real life, Mr. Wright, not some cinematic drivel or comic book. Do you have some sort of logical explanation to share that would convince us for your climb? I do. Are you sure, Nick? Kind of. Actually, I have nothing. So I'll just have to wing it somehow.
On what you do base your theory that Mr. Sprocket made his way along the outside?
My theory that he was able to go along the outside wall despite the danger is based on... Wir sind jetzt einfach mal ganz romantisch. Es ist einfach die Kraft der Liebe zwischen den beiden. Ich meine, wenn man sich mal so anguckt, es heißt ja, Liebe kann Berge versetzen. Und aufgrund von Liebe zu jemandem haben es schon Leute geschafft, erstaunliche Kräfte zu entwickeln. Also, komm, the power of love. To save the bride he loves, the groom risked his life and rushed to her side. Mr. Sprocket was able to make it to the Vista deck despite the danger. Because of the power of love!
The power of love! That love is a source of strength that can help one overcome any obstacle! I think I can relate, thanks to my own long-happy marriage!
Wow, he actually seems to be buying it.
Objection.
Natürlich Edward nicht. The power of love, you say? That kind of illogical argument is hardly available in a court of law. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Edgeworth! You should never underestimate the power of love! You understand one day when you get married,
Which I won't. Exactly what is wrong with wishing to remain unwed? Way to set him off, Your Honor. Ach Mann, ey, Edgeworth. Es ist kein Wunder, dass du bislang keine Freundin hast. Vielleicht solltest du dir mal einen zulegen. Just in case. Never mind all this unscientific nonsense. Du musst ja auch noch nicht mal heiraten, also come on. Are you aware, Mr. Wright, that at the time of the crime, there was a huge propeller turning at full speed between the hatch and the Vista deck? Even if a person were to go outside through the hatch. They'd be blown away in an instant. Ah! Where does your power of love get you now, Mr. Wright?
A huge spinning propeller, you say? In that case, I have to admit it does seem impossible!
I should have known. Nick, you can't make that kind of face in front of your client. The worst of times are when a lawyer has to force their biggest smiles. Right? Right. I feel like I just saw Mia looking out at me through Maya's eyes. What's wrong, Nick? Why are you gaping at me like a giant sunfish? Thank you, Maya. You just helped me remember something really important. There it is. There's that fierceless smile I was looking for. Now, give us a mind-blowing theory, just like you always do. I have to turn my thinking around. Instead of wondering how Soren could have moved past that huge propeller, I have to think about what would have made it possible for him to do so. Your Honor, Mr. Wright only makes that ridiculous face when his back is pressed against the wall. Therefore, please do hurry and give your ruling... Schnauzer? Mr. Edgeworth? It's so far too early to discount my theory. What are you talking about? The airship's large spinning propellers have already shredded it to pieces. But if we think a little more outside the box, I'm sure we can find a way he could have made it. Stop trying to stall, Mr. Wright, and show us how it could have been even remotely possible, if at all.
I must agree with Mr. Edgeworth!
Very well, Your Honor. There must have been a way. Some way that Soren could have moved along the roller in spite of the propeller.
No there, Mr. Wright! What specifically would have made it possible?
This is how it would have been possible for Mr. Sprocket to get to the Vista Deck. Es kann ja nur so sein, dass die Propeller sich schlichtweg eigentlich gar nicht bewegt haben. Kurzum, der Zeppelin hat sich keinen Zentimeter bewegt. What allowed Mr. Sprocket to go along the outside wall in spite of the propellers? Is the location of the flying chapelle at the time of the crime.
The location of the flying chapelle? But wasn't it flying high in the sky?
No, Your Honor. I'm afraid it wasn't.
What? Then what was it?
At the time of the murder, the airship wasn't flying through the sky, but more to the ground.
What?
And if the airship wasn't flying, then that means the propellers weren't turning. In which case, Mr. Sprocket could have gotten to the Vista Deck along the outside wall. Isn't that right, Mr. Sprocket? I don't remember. Ow! He stabbed himself with his pencil. That's gonna leave a mark. Oh, hat der Kleine ein Auerpupu. Hier, hab erstmal was zum Kühlen.
Objection.
Even if the propellers weren't turning, it would have been far too risky to go that way. Ah, but Mr. Edgeworth, you're forgetting about the power of love!
Yes, the amazing power of love!
Not this again! Very well, for the sake of argument, let's assume the so-called power of love made it possible for Mr. Sprocket to move along the outside wall of the airship. Can you prove that the airship was tied to the ground as you claim, Mr. Wright? Well, Das ist jetzt natürlich wieder eine Sache. I don't have any evidence that proves where the airship was at the time. You can't prove it, can't you? Maya, can you think of anything we can use to prove it? Can't say I can. Oh wait! Didn't somebody see something outside the window at the time of the crime? I think I remember someone saying as much. Do I have a piece of evidence that shows what was outside the airship? Well, what are you waiting for? This piece of evidence shows what was outside the airship at the time of the crime. Und was das genau für ein Beweisstück ist? Dazu morgen mehr. Egal ob positiv oder negativ, Bewertung oder gern gesehen, das war's meinerseits und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal wieder. Sehr geil!